Hello boys and girls, welcome to the Math Club. In this video we're going to talk about Mathematics Year 9 Achievement Test, June 2021. Question 8. What's the highest common factor of 18 and 30? Now to find the highest common factor we have to find the factors of 18 and 30. First let me cover this so we can work here. Now we're going to find the factors of 18 here and the factors of 30 here. To find the factors, we have to write 1 multiplied by, so we can work it out, okay? First, let's make it smaller, just like this. So 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. We'll step at 5 times, okay? And then same idea, we're gonna do the same here for the 30. So it's gonna be like this. Now let's find the ones here. So 18 divide 1 equals, very good, equals 18. And then 18 divide 2 is gonna be 9. Good job. And then 18 divide 3 equals 6. 18 divide 4, can we work out 18 divide 4? Or can we divide 18 on 4? We will get a decimal, so it's not gonna be used. We're not gonna use it. And then 18 divide 5, same idea, is gonna be a decimal, so we're not gonna use it. And then 6 will repeat 3 again, so we're gonna stop at 3. Now let's remove this and this. Here we got the factors of 18. Now with the same idea we're gonna get the factors of 30. Same idea, divide 30 on 1. Here is gonna be 30. And then 30 divide 2 is gonna be 15. 30 divide 3 is gonna be 10. 30 divide 4 doesn't work, so we're not gonna use it. And 30 divide 5 is gonna be 6. And then 6 will repeat 5 again, so we're gonna stop here. Let's cover the 4 so we don't use it. Now these are the factors of 30 and these are the factors of 18. Now we need the highest and the common factor between 18 and 30. So it has to be common and the highest common one. Let's put a circle on the common ones first. 1, 2, 3 are commons. Okay. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3 are common. So 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2, 3. What else is common? We have the 6 here, 6 here. Good. Do we have other commons? No, we don't. So what's the highest between the numbers that we chose? It's the 6. Very good. So the 6 is the highest common factor between these two numbers. So the 6 is the answer of this question. Again, we found the factors, and then we find the common factors, and then we choose the highest one between the common factors, and it will be the answer for our question. Now let's move on to the next question. Question 9. Which of these values is the lowest? We need the lowest value. Now to find the lowest value between values, we have to make them the same. For example, if this is decimal, all of them must be decimals. So we can work out which one is the highest one or the lowest one as they need. So here we have 0.567. Let me first take this here so we can work here. Yes. Let's make this bigger. Okay, so we have 0.567. It's already in decimals. Now let's make this decimals. How do we do this? By dividing. 5 divide 9. So 5 divide 9, it's going to be 0.555. 0.555. And why am I taking 3 5s? Because I have 3 numbers here. If I have 2 numbers, I'm going to use 2. So I have to make them the same type and the same count of numbers. This one, 57. This one is 57, like this. Divide 100. Divide 100. So I'm going to divide 57 over 100 and I'll get my decimal. And when I do it with a calculator, I will get 0.57. And because I have 3 numbers here, I must make this 3. Now I'll show you the method of making this 3 when we put them on top of each other, okay? Now 6 divide 11, same idea, I'm going to divide it. So 6 divide 11. And the answer will be 0.545. So 0.545. And as I said, I have a long decimal list, so I picked these three only because I only need three to compare them to each other. Now this one is missing one. Now when we put these on top of each other, let's do it right here. So we have 0.567, 0.555, 0.57, and 0.545. Now here, when you look at them in order, you'll notice that what? This is missing a number. So instead of leaving it empty, I'm going to put a 0 to make all the numbers have the same count. All of them have 3 numbers after the decimal point. Now, I want to compare them and check which one is the smaller one. Now, all of these are the same, so I'm going to remove them. All the decimal points are the same, I'm going to remove them. All the 5s are the same, I'm going to remove them. Now, I end up with these numbers. This is 6, this is 5, this is 7, and this is 4. Which one is the smallest one? Which one is the smallest one here? Very good, it's the 4. So I'm going to pick this and say that this is the smallest number between all of them. And this is the idea of answering this question. So you have to make them all decimals and then put them on each other, fill the gaps, make them the same count, and then you'll end up with these numbers. If you have the same numbers, remove them until you end up with different numbers. Check which one is the lowest, and then you'll get your answer. And this is how you answer a question like this. Now you're going to do the same for all the questions that ask you about the lowest or the highest, or putting numbers in order using decimal numbers. Now let's move on to the next question. Question 10. A box contains only 5 red beads, 6 yellow beads, and 7 green beads. One bead is taken from the box at random. What is the probability that the bead taken is green? What's the probability that the bead is taken is green? First, we need to know how many are there inside this box. How many beads? First, let's draw the box. We have 5 red ones. 5 red ones. So I'm going to write 5 red like this. And then 6 yellow. Let's use yellow. So we have 6. Okay. And then the last one, 7 green. 7 green. 7 green. Let's make it light green so you can see it's green. Just like this. Now we have 5 red, 6 yellow, 7 green. So all of them are what? We add them together to check how many beads are inside. So when we add them together, we end up with what? 5 plus 6 is 11. 11 plus 7 is 18. So the answer must have 18 in the denominator. Now, the probability means a fraction, and we must have 18 in the denominator. Okay, so after this, or depending, it might be after simplifying we will get the answer, or might not. Now, the question asks for what? For the green ones, for the green beads. What's the probability that the bead taken is green? How many green ones do we have here? Very good, we have 7. We just take the 7 and put it in the numerator, so the answer will be 7 over 18. 7 over 18. And this is the probability of taking what? Of taking a green bead from this box. And this is how you answer a question like this. Now, focus on explaining the question for yourself like this, like we did here. And then choosing a green is 7 over the 18, which is the full number of beads. Now, let's move on to the next question. Question 11. Okay, let's make it like this. Find the scale factor that shape A should be enlarged by to get shape B. So we're going to enlarge shape A to shape B. Focus on these questions. What is first and what is second? So we're going to make shape A become shape B. It means it will become bigger. It will become bigger. And bigger shapes, it means the scale factor is not a fraction. It's not a fraction. So it's not going to be 2 over 3 because 2 over 3 is a fraction. And remember, not an improper fraction. We're talking about simple fractions here. So it's not a fraction. Now let's check which one of these will be the answer. How do we check? Finding the scale factor. How do we find scale factor between shapes? By dividing congruent, not congruent, corresponding. By dividing corresponding sides. Dividing corresponding sides by each other. How do you divide corresponding sides by each other? And what's the meaning of corresponding sides? Corresponding sides means the same side on different shape. For example, this is the base of this shape, and this is the base of the first shape. So these are corresponding sides. This is the side, so this is the side. So these are corresponding. Corresponding means same sides, different shapes. For example, this is the base, so this is the base of the other shape. So these are corresponding sides. Now, by dividing corresponding sides by each other, you will get the enlargement or the scale factor of enlargement. So we're going to divide the bigger one by the smaller one because A became B, so we have to divide B by A. So we're going to say 9 divide 6. 9 divide 6. And we will get the scale factor that we need. So we're going to use a calculator here. 9 divide 6. It's going to be 1.5. 1.5. Let me push equals. So the scale factor of enlargement here is 1.5. And that's the idea of this question. So remember, when you're trying to find the scale factor of enlargement, you have to focus on choosing the shapes. Before you choose the shapes, you have to decide which shape is the new one and which one is the old one. And this is the idea of this question. Now, let's move on to the next question. Question 12. If A equals -10, B equals -4, and C equals 3, find the value of this expression. Now, in this expression, we have the values of each variable, so we're going to substitute it instead of the variable itself. So here A is -10, we're going to put -10 instead of the A. Same idea with B and C. Now let's do it together. Let's do it here. So A is -10, so we're going to write -10. And then B equals -4, so we're going to put plus, same idea here. We're going to use the same expression. We will change only the values of the variables. So 3 is multiplied by B, so I'm going to write 3 multiplied by B, which is -4. And then I'll close the bracket. Sorry, that's supposed to be a bracket. So here I'm going to put -4. And then after multiplying 3 by B, because B is -4, I put it inside a bracket. Now plus C, and C equals 3, so plus 3. And then outside we have square or power of 2, so I'm going to put power of 2 here. Make it smaller so you can see it as a power, like this. Now that's the idea of this question. So I put the values of each variable. Each letter has a number, so I'll put it instead of it, and then I'll do the calculations. I can do all of this in the calculator, or I'll do it step by step. Step by step, it means I have to follow the BIDMAS rule. BIDMAS rule. And we talked about the BIDMAS, and we said that B is brackets. So we're going to finish what's inside the brackets first. Let's continue here. So -10 plus, let's make it smaller, bigger again. Yes. -10 plus, what's inside the bracket must be done first. So I'm going to put brackets like this and then finish what's inside of it. Here we have 3 times -4. When I multiply them, I'll get what? I'll get -12. I can do this with a calculator. And then after 3 times -4, I have plus 3. And then both of them squared or power of 2, like this. Now I'm going to continue doing what's inside the bracket first. So -10 plus, what's inside the bracket is -12 plus 3. What's -12 plus 3? I can use a calculator for that. Yes. So -12 or 3 minus 12, like this. It's going to be -9. So it's going to be -9. I'll put it inside the bracket like this, -9. And -9 is squared, so power of 2, like this. I'm going to continue with the brackets. So I'm gonna do negative 9 squared like this inside the bracket. I'll do bracket negative 9 bracket squared, and the answer will be 81. So the squaring of negative 9 is gonna be 81. So I'm gonna write negative 10 like this plus 81 like this, and the answer will be, so 81, and the answer will be 71. And this is the final answer of the whole expression, 71. As you can see, it's here in the answers, 71. So I'm gonna put a check so you can see it. Yes. So the final answer is 71. So when we answer expressions like these, first we have to substitute, and then finding the values of each variable from the question, substitute it, and then follow the BIDMAS. We did the brackets first, here. We did the brackets, and then we did the index, which is the power, I, and then we don't have divisions. We don't have multiplies after the index, and then we did the addition and subtraction here together, okay? And we finally got the 71, which is the answer of this question. Now let's move on to the next question. Follow the steps and you'll be okay. Question 13. The price, let's put it here, sorry. The price of a holiday has increased by 10%. The holiday now costs $990. $990. How much would the holiday have cost before the price increases? Or before the price increase? So they need the price of the holiday before the increase. This one is what? These are percentages or percentage increase. We can use the X method with percentage increase. How do we do this? First, we make 4 boxes like these. Okay. We put the same things in the same column. For example, here, this one is the percentage, and this one is the price. Percentage, price. Now here it's always 100%. It's always 100%. And the 100% is the original price. Now here, this one is after the increase. They need the original price. They don't know the original price, so they need it. So I'm going to put a question mark here. And as I said, the 100% is the original one, so this is the original one in front of it. Now, here, the percentage has increased by 10%. Increased by 10%. This is very important. So increased by 10%, it means I'm going to increase this by 10. So this one plus 10 equals 110. Focus on this. If it's increased, I'm going to add it. If it's decreased, I'm going to subtract it from 100. Now I have the new percentage, and the final price after the increase is 990. I'm going to put it here because this is the price after the increase. Now I'm going to use this method to find the original price. How do I do this? I'll put X in the middle like this. I look at the X. Which two numbers are connected by the same line? These ones are connected, but this one, I don't know it. If I don't know it, I'm not going to use it. So I'm going to use the other ones. This and this are connected by the same line, so I'm going to multiply them by each other. I'm going to multiply them by each other. After multiplying these by each other, I'm going to divide them by the number that I didn't use, which is this one. So I'm going to multiply here, and then divide by this, and then divide by this. Focus on this step. Multiply and then divide. Multiply and then divide. So multiply the ones connected with a line, and then divide them by the one that you didn't use. And this is the idea of the X method. Now, let's use the method to answer the question. First, we multiply 990 multiplied by 100, and then divided by 110. And the answer will be, very good, $900. $900. And this is the answer for this question. $900. See here. So, as I said, you have to focus on the steps of using the X method. The steps of using the X method are like this. First, we have to look at the numbers. and do create 4 boxes. The first one is for percentages here. These are for prices. The one for percentage, you put 100 here, and then the original price, you don't know it, and then the new percentage is 110 because it's increasing, we add 10, and then the new price after the increase is 990. Now I put X in the middle. The ones connected with the line, I multiply them and then divide by the other one. Now let's move on to the next question. Question 14. How can the recurring decimal below be written as a fraction? As we said, the recurring decimal question, if it comes here, you can use the calculator and check. You don't have to do the steps here. Now I'm going to explain the steps once we have a question in the next section, which is section B. Now, how do you check fast if this one or one of these is this one? You just use the calculator and then divide these by each other. If it gives you this, it means it's the right answer. So let's check. 37 divide 99. 37 divide 99. It gave me 0.37 recurring or repeating all the time. So this means it is the correct answer. And this is how you answer a question like this. So you use the calculator, divide and check. Now when you divide these, you will get what? You'll get 0.37 only. This one is not the same as this one. Now let's divide this. We have 37 divide 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2, and I got 0.37373737 and 3. Now this one looks like it's the correct answer, but it's not. This is the correct answer. This one, the same thing, is going to give me the same idea, 0.373737, but this one is the right answer because of the steps that we're going to use or we're going to make in answering question when it comes in section B. So make sure that you check, and then you'll understand the idea of choosing this instead of these. Now let's move on to the next question. Question 15. Solve the inequality. Now let's cover this first so we can use the space. Now this inequality here, we have 5 multiplied by the whole bracket and then smaller than 30. Now you can expand the 5 inside like this. You can expand it like this, or because it's multiplied, you can take it to the other side by dividing without expanding. I prefer that you don't expand because it will take more time. Now let's write the inequality here first and then we will work it out. So we have 5 bracket, we have 12 inside of it, minus 3x, and then smaller than, I think this is it. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. So smaller than, let's make it with this line, like this. Focus on the signs. And then we have 30. As I said, this one is multiplied, so I'm going to take it to the other side by dividing. This is multiplied here. I'm going to take it to the other side by dividing. So it's going to be 30 divide 5, like this. Or divide both sides on 5, same idea. You can follow the same steps. They will give you the same answer. Now, 30 divide 5 is going to be 6. So here we have 12 minus 3x. And then here we have 6. And then we have the inequality sign, like this, smaller than. Okay. Now, 12 minus 3x smaller than 6. Now, let's take the 12 to the other side. So it's going to be minus 12 because here it's positive. So I'm going to take it to the other side. It's going to be negative. So I'm going to take the 12 here. So I'm going to end up with what? Minus 3x. And then the sign. And then we have 6 minus 12. Now focus on the steps. Make sure that you do one step at a time so you won't get confused. Now this one means what? 6 minus 12 is going to be, very good, minus 6. So let's write this the same. Let's write it here. So we have minus 3x, and then the inequality sign, which is smaller than, yes, and then 6 minus 12 equals minus 6, minus 6. Now focus on this step, because most students have problems with this step. What is it? I need the x alone, and this is minus 3 multiplied by x. So I'm going to divide by minus 3. I'm going to divide by minus 3 here, and I'm going to divide by minus 3 here. So focus on this, minus 3 here and minus 3 here. And because I divided by a negative number, it means I have to flip the sign. This is a rule in inequalities. If you divide or multiply by a negative number, you have to flip the sign. So the negative 3 goes with the negative 3. I end up with x here. And then negative 6 divide negative 3 is going to be, very good, 2. And because I divided by a negative number, the inequality sign will be facing this way. It means that what? The final answer will be x is bigger than 2. And this is how you answer a question like this. So focus on the steps. First thing we did, we took this 5 here by dividing because it's multiplied. We divided these, we got 6. And then we took the 12 to the other side by negative because it's positive. And then we end up with negative 3x smaller than negative 6. We divide by negative 3, both sides. We end up with x here. We end up with 2 here. We flip the sign because we divided by a negative number. It means that x is bigger than 2. And this is the final answer. And this is how you answer a question like this. Focus on inequalities because they need steps to follow, and you have to understand them to get the right answer. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.